Hi, my name is Nuratika Sakina with Fauzi, and today my group will be presenting our recorded presentation of investigating gender description in language from a storybook, The Gilded Age by Mark Twain and Charles Dudley Warner. Our group consists of 4 members, which are me, Nuratika Sakina, Nur Khadijah Sofia, Kusnul Aisyah, and Nur Shafika Akila. So for the first slide, I'll be presenting the introduction and background of the study. Gender stereotypes are believed that a person's traits or behavior are determined by their gender, stated by Juby and colleagues 2024. And these stereotypes influence educations, relationships, and job opportunities, creating inequalities between men and women. Language plays a key role in shaping these biases, and gender terms and description reinforce societal expectations. Men are often associated with strength and power, while women are described in terms of beauty and gentleness. This study examines how attributive adjectives describe men and women, following Bible et al. 2007. A corpus from ECHO is also analyzed to identify patterns and purposes of these adjectives. So, let's move on to the background of the study, which is in order to conduct this study, we analyzed The Gilded Age by Mark Twain and Charles Dudley Warner, which reflects post-Civil War American society and its gender norms. This study focuses on how attributive adjectives describe characters, situations, and social systems. Using Bible et al. 2007, semantic dominance adjectives are revealing deeper societal insights, and although limited to one book, this research highlights how language reflects and reinforces gender stereotypes. And by understanding these patterns, it can help us recognize biases in literature and everyday speech. So, let's move on to the next slide, which is the main objective of this study. So our main objective of the study is to analyze attributive adjectives used to describe men and women in English using a corpus derived from ECHO. So specifically, this study aims to: number 1, identify the types and functions of adjectives used for men and women. Number 2, examine how these adjectives reflect gender stereotypes and cultural attitudes. So, by addressing this objective, this study helps us understand how language shapes gender representations, and the findings will also raise awareness of potential biases in language by influencing how society perceives gender roles. So, that's all for introduction. I will pass to my friends. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning everyone. My name is Kusnul Aisyah, and today I'll be presenting a literature review on gendered language patterns in English, focusing on how adjectives are used to describe men and women. Language plays a significant role in shaping perceptions, and this analysis helps us understand how certain words reinforce traditional gender stereotypes. First, let's look at leadership. According to a 2018 Harvard Business Review study, men in leadership positions are frequently described as assertive, dominant, and decisive. These words emphasize authority, reinforcing the idea that men are natural leaders. In contrast, women leaders are often described as nurturing, warm, and compassionate. While these are positive traits, they also suggest that women are more suited for supportive roles rather than authoritative positions, which can impact career opportunities. In literature, a study from ResearchGate 2017 found that female characters are commonly associated with adjectives like kind, gentle, and agreeable, while male characters are described as bold, rational, and extroverted. This suggests that literature reinforces traditional gender roles, portraying men as strong and decisive, while depicting women as passive and emotional. Gendered language also appears in descriptions of marital roles. A study from IJLL&ET 2017 showed that supportive wife is common phrase, but supportive husband is much rarer. Instead, men are often described as hardworking, responsible, reinforcing the idea that men are providers while women are caregivers. Finally, in workplace settings, a 2019 Diva Portal study found that women are described using adjectives related to interpersonal skills, such as cooperative and friendly, whereas men are more often labeled as efficient, and strategy. This difference can impact workplace evaluations as women may be judged more on their personality rather than their skills. Adjectives plays a powerful role in shaping gender perceptions, whether in leadership, literature, marriage, or the workplace. The way we describe men and women reinforces traditional gender norms. These linguistic patterns influence how people are perceived and treated in society. However, recognizing these patterns is the first step in challenging gender bias. By being mindful on how language influences our thinking, we can promote more neutral and inclusive descriptions, ensuring that both men and women are judged based on their abilities rather than stereotypes. And next, I'm passing to my other teammates.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all who is watching. My name is Lexicology binti Mama Azli, and this is EIC504 Lexicology presentation. Now, this is my part. Welcome to my part, which is the methodology. Now, 3.1 Research Method. This study utilizes a corpus-based approach to examine the descriptive adjectives links to the nouns man and woman inside of Mark Twain's The Gilded Age. The corpus findings include frequency and semantic domains of said attributive adjectives. Let's move on to 3.2 Sample of the study. This study comprises data that are collected from the book called The Gilded Age, written by Mark Twain. First published in 1873 and consisted of 1,099 words, The Gilded Age is about a collection of two stories, one of a Tennessee family trying to sell an underdeveloped land, and the other of two upper-class businessmen who make a journey with a group intent on surveying land in Tennessee in order to acquire it for speculation. The focus is on the attributive adjectives that accompany the nouns of man and woman. Now, 3.3 Instruments of the study. This study utilizes ANCOC, a corpus analysis software, as the primary tool for extracting and analyzing attributive adjectives from The Gilded Age by Mark Twain. ANCOC facilitates keyword searches, frequency analysis, and concordance generation to identify adjective-noun pairs. Additionally, spreadsheets and categorization frameworks are employed to systematically classify adjectives based on their semantic properties. Secondary sources, such as linguistic studies on gender representation, will be consulted to validate findings. Now let's move on to 3.4, which is the data collection procedure. Now, ANCOC software is used to extract attributional adjectives that describe men and women from Mark Twain's The Gilded Age, which serves as the source of data for the study. Adjective-noun pairings found through a keyword search are subsequently grouped according to the semantic characteristics, including physical characteristics, psychological qualities, and social roles. Frequency patterns, possible gender biases, and cultural views expressed in the language are all examined in analysis. The accuracy of the findings is peer-reviewed and cross-checked with linguistic studies to guarantee reliability. Let's move on to 3.5, which is the data analysis procedure. Now, the collected data from The Gilded Age by Mark Twain is analyzed using both quantitative and qualitative methods to examine gendered language patterns and attributive adjectives as follows. Now, for the quantitative analysis, the frequency of attributive adjectives describing man and woman is examined using the extracted data. A comparative analysis is conducted to identify differences in adjective usage between male and female nouns. Now, statistical patterns are observed to determine which adjectives are most frequently used for each gender. Now, for qualitative analysis, the adjectives are categorized, which include aesthetic appeal, general appraisal, defiance, science plus strength, emotional or sensory appraisal, and relational adjectives. The semantic domains of adjectives, like evaluative, descriptive, emotive, relational, are analyzed to interpret the underlying gender representations, and the results are assessed for implicit gender stereotypes by comparing how men and women are described differently in terms of traits, status, and emotional attributes. Now, this is the comparative and contextual interpretation. The adjectives describing man and woman are compared to identify patterns of gender description, such as whether men are frequently more associated with strength and status, while women are associated with beauty and emotions. Now, the findings are contextualized within broader linguistic and cultural discussion on gender representation. Now, secondary sources, including previous linguistic studies on gender adjectives, were used to validate the analysis and provide additional insights. So, by integrating frequency analysis with semantic categorization, this study aims to uncover how gender language in the Gilded Age reflects in cultural attitudes and potential bias in linguistic representation. Now, I will pass on to the next presenter. Thank you for your time. My name is Rashid Gakila. Assalamualaikum.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nokadija Sufia. So now I will continue with our finding and discussion. So for our finding and discussion, we did two types of analysis. The first one is we analyzed the frequencies of attributive adjective found in the book titled The Gilded Age. And the second one, we analyzed the semantic domain of attributive adjective by using Bible. So based on the analysis, it is clear that there is noticeable difference in the number of adjectives used to describe men and women in the book The Gilded Age. So men are described more frequently throughout the book, showing that they are given more attention and described more detailed in the narrative compared to women. But on the other hand, women's adjectives appear less often, which could imply that their characters are less described in the story than men. Additionally, we can see that women are often described using adjectives that focus on their beauty or physical appearance, such as beautiful, pretty, picturesque, lovely, and ugly, whereas men's descriptions are less focused on their looks. Men are often associated with with adjectives that emphasize their intelligent and societal roles, such as industrious, serious, wiser, and popular. Despite this clear disparity, there are moments when both genders share similar adjectives, showing that there is some flexibility in how qualities are applied to each gender. So, for example, the word handsome is used for both men and women, showing that some descriptions are seen as neutral or applicable regardless of gender. So, this overlap points to the possibility that while certain adjectives are more common for one gender than the other, there are times when characteristics are universally acknowledged. Additionally, in this story, the way characters are described often align with their roles or significance within the narrative. We observe that rare adjectives tend to appear when a character's unique qualities need to be highlighted, often in key moments of the plot. For example, adjectives like magnificent for women and wiser for a man. These rare adjectives do not make up to the general characterization, but are used to highlight specific aspects of a character's identity in specific scenes. This shows that the narrative adapts language to fit the story, using adjectives to emphasize particular traits for women and men when needed. So from this analysis, we found that men are less frequently described using descriptive adjectives related to appearance and are instead characterized by adjectives like industrious, serious, and rich, reinforcing traditional masculinity linked to their strength, success, and intellect. In contrast, women are often described using adjectives that emphasize their beauty, such as beautiful, picturesque, pretty, magnificent, and others, underscoring the societal expectation that their value is tied with their physical attractiveness. Evaluative adjectives are then further reveal how men and women are judged differently. Men are labeled good and popular, indicating social status and influence, while women receive adjectives like fascinating and honored, reflecting admiration rather than achievement. This aligns with traditional norms where men are valued for their leadership and success, while women are appraised for their charm and desirability. The use of relational classifying adjective also shows a gender pattern, with Mary appearing under men but not women. This suggests that men's marital status is seen as relevant, possibly in terms of responsibility, whereas women's status is either assumed or considered less defining. Besides, the contrast between deep for men and little for women subtly reinforce gender stereotypes. While deep conveys intelligence, emotional complexity, and significance, little implies smallness, delicacy, or even insignificance, showing traditional expectation that men should be thoughtful and impactful, while women should be gentle and restrained. Women are also more frequently associated with miscellaneous or fixed expression like any and other, suggesting that they are often defined in relation to external factors rather than as individuals. The presence of some in quantitative adjective in women description further implies a broad categorization, reflecting how women are often grouped into generalized roles rather than recognized for distinct qualities. Moreover, men are more commonly described with comparative and superlative adjectives such as wiser and best, which emphasize their intelligence and competence. Women, however, are given words like noblest, which focus on their morality rather than their personal capability. This suggests that men's personalities and inner value are more openly evaluated, whereas women are judged based on virtue rather than ability. Additionally, color adjectives like black, white, and colored often carry racial implication in the book. Their use suggests that people were classified by skin color rather than cultural identity, much like origin and nationality adjectives such as Negro and Eastern, reinforcing historical patterns of racial categorization in the United States society. This reflects societal tendency to define people based on appearance rather than their heritage. Lastly, men are often described by their age, such as young and old, highlighting that society view each as an important part of a man's identity. Being young, often linked to the energy and potential, while being older is seen as a sign of wisdom and experience. For men, aging is commonly viewed as a sign of maturity and greater authority, reinforcing the belief that their value increases as they grow older. I think that's all for our finding and discussion. Now I will pass to Atika to conclude all the information gathered in our assessment.
So, hi again. I'm going to talk about the conclusion part, and so let's begin. In conclusion, the study used a corpus-based approach to analyze gender adjectives in the Gilded age through and causal way. The findings show clear differences in how men and women are described, and adjectives linked to women often emphasize physical appearance and morality, using words like beautiful, pretty, and noblest. Meanwhile, adjectives for men focuses on intelligence, strength, and status, with words like rich, serious, and wise. So, these patterns reflected traditional gender roles where women are valued for beauty and virtue, while men are seen as dominant and capable. Additionally, the data reveals a gender imbalance as male characters appear more frequently than females. And overall, the study sheds light on how language reinforces gender stereotypes in literature, shaping the way we perceive gender roles in society. And I think that's all from us. Thank you so much for listening.